In the previous module, we identified that CSI directors are voted into their positions by Conestoga College students through an election. Directors represent the best interest of all Conestoga students regardless of their campus, program, or even if they voted for you. Essentially, the CSI fee-paying members of Conestoga College's student body are the bosses of the directors, and the directors answer only to the students that they represent. CSI has 8 director positions on our board of directors, 7 at-large roles, and 1 reserved for a member of Canada's Indigenous community. Together, these 8 individuals make the decisions that affect the strategic direction of the organization by voting on motions that they themselves bring forward. The board speaks with one voice or not at all, meaning that there may be times where an individual director may disagree with the will of the board, but decisions made by way of voting are binding for all. If that sounds like a lot of responsibility, that's because it is. Luckily, there are other members of the board of directors that help make the decision-making process easier. The remainder of the board is made up of non-voting members. The top position is CSI's president. The president is a unique role as they are the director's only link to operations. The president is an appointed role decided on by the board from one of its former members. They offer the board support, enforce governance, and functions as the organization's chief executive officer. The decisions of the board are communicated through the CSI president as your representative and voice. Similar to the president, the vice president is an appointed position from the board's former membership who functions as the treasurer and assumes the role of president if needed. Finally, the roles of executive director and associate executive director are career positions that have dual roles as members of upper management. Each of these additional non-voting members of the board of directors answers to the president in their executive duties, which center around the allocation of resources, execution of operations, and management of staff. The composition of the board as a whole works together to govern the organization. They ensure that systems and practices are in place that guide the organization to operate effectively. Some of the important systems and practices are: who has power, who makes decisions, what limitations for executives exist, how stakeholders make their voice heard, and how accountability is maintained. With this knowledge, it's possible to see how the organization is able to function at a high level. Starting with the CSI fee-paying student members, who are the owners of the organization, the board of directors, which is comprised of the 8 decision-making directors elected by the owners, the president, who speaks for the organization and the board, the other non-voting members who enable the president to do their job through management of operations and other functions, CSI staff who execute programs and services, and finally, back to the students as customers.